Welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. Well, behind me is a tire that is slowly leaking. It took about a few days, 4 or 5 days. We filled it up and it slowly got low again. So today we're going to look at the tire, try to figure out why it's leaking, and then fix it. This will apply if you have a slow leaking tire or if you have a tire that you know has a nail or screw in it that you need to fix. So installing a plug in a tire to fix a leak. Let me show you what we got and we'll dig in and get this thing fixed. So this is GMC Yukon, and we have a tire on the back here that has about 20 psi in it, and it's been slowly leaking. So what we're going to do is when we get the tire off first, you can try to find the leak here with the tire on the vehicle, but it is a lot easier if you take it off. So we're going to throw a jack under here. We're going to get this tire taken off. We're going to take a look at it, and I'll show you how to find the leak and then fix it. Some obvious things: make sure you block your tires, make sure you are jacking your vehicle up on a frame portion, something that is solid, not the body. And I also like to use a jack stand just as a safety precaution. What you don't want to happen is your 15-minute repair turn into a all-day repair because your vehicle dropped on the rotor. All right, so we have our tire off and we can start to kind of inspect the tread. And one of the things that I find useful is I have this little jar of dish soap and water and an old paintbrush, and so I'm going to use that to check for leaks. There's some places obviously that I have rocks and things like that, and you can kind of poke around in here. I have a Leatherman, or you can grab a screwdriver and just kind of pull out some of these things, make sure that they're not nail heads or anything else like that in here. And we're just going to kind of spin this around and start to inspect it. And I'm also going to go ahead and grab my compressor and air this up to max pressure so we start to get, if there is a leak, I want to hear it or see it. If I have something that is suspicious, I'm just going to take my paintbrush and just kind of suds it up on there, and you can kind of watch it and see if we're blowing any bubbles. And that was just a rock, so we're not blowing bubbles. We're good. It looks like we have found the problem. There's a screw in here. All right, well, we definitely have found our problem. Let's just get a couple things prepared here before we remove that screw. Looks like a star bit. This is a kit that I keep in my vehicles, an emergency tire repair kit. I also have one in my shop, but I'm actually out of some of the supplies, so we'll use this one today. It comes with these plugs. They're rubber, I don't know what they are, rubber cement coated plugs. It has a reaming tool, and then it has the insert or application tool in there, and a tire gauge. This kit is cheap. This is Slime brand, and I will put a link on Amazon to this. You can pick these up at Walmart, hardware stores, whatever, or you can order on Amazon and get yourself ready. I would recommend always having one of these in every vehicle that you own. It's a lot easier to do this than it is to change a tire, get a spare out, have to deal with all that. You can use it, permanently fix the tire right on the side of the road. Let's get one of our plugs out here. So I'm going to insert the plug in to the applicator. Now I always have a Leatherman on me, so I don't need other tools, but a pair of needle nose pliers is real handy with this. Pull this about halfway through, so it looks something like that. You'll notice this has a little slot in the end of it, so we're going to force this into our hole, and then we're going to pull it back out, and it's going to allow this rubber to slip through that spot so we can get the tool back out. I'm hoping I can just kind of screw this thing right out of there. Oh. Hopefully it doesn't shoot me in the face. If it's a whole screw, it's it's gonna have a little ways to come out here. Looks like we can unscrew it a little here. It always amazes me how these things get in the tire in the first place. You know how hard it would be to line this screw up just right so the tire could roll over it and force it all the way in? Seems like it would be a hard thing to do. All right, here we go. So we're gonna start losing some air here. That's okay. So use the ream tool. This just makes sure that we have a nice straight hole and that we can actually fit the plug in there. If the hole's too small, you need to actually make it bigger in order to fit your plug in. Plug in now. Alright, so I buried it in there pretty far. Let's keep working it in there. And I'm just going to pull this out. So that's it. I'm going to take the excess off with a knife. You don't want that catching on the road. Well, let's see if we were successful. I don't see any air bubbles. I don't know about you guys. Looks like we're good. Mission accomplished. Put our tools back away. This is what was in there. A full-on wood screw or deck screw. About 1.5 inches or something like that. That can cause a problem. So if you'll stick around at the end of the video, I'll show you the emergency kit that I do use coupled with this. Obviously, if you just have this, it's not going to do you any good. You need a few other things in order to fix a tire on the side of the road. But if you're doing it at your house, of course, this is all you need. This seal that we have created here is permanent. This will, I've had these last the life of the tire. I've gone 10 years with a plug in these in tires, some old tires I had in the Avalanche, and it never leaked again. So the only time I've ever had anything happen with these plugs is there was one time when I left it sticking out a little too much here. I just left it on there and said, oh, it'll wear out, and spun my tires in some gravel, and the tire went flat. It pulled the plug right out. Shave this off like this. That'll wear down, first time I drive it, that little bit there, and it'll be flat just like the tire, and you'll never notice it again. So let's get this aired up and pop it back on the truck. This is my emergency kit. This bin, I'll put a link to all this stuff on Amazon. Everything here is pretty much from Amazon or can be found on Amazon. Just an easy place to get everything. I have a headlight. I would not recommend this headlight. This is an old one that I have in there. It's actually dead because this is a regular, it takes AAA batteries and they just die in the cold over time. There are the newer one. I'm actually going to take this out and replace it with another one that I have that is just rechargeable. But a headlight is crucial if you got to change a tire, especially if you're by yourself. You don't have somebody hold a flashlight. Headlight is super helpful. So I have this in there. Although this one doesn't work, I have other flashlights. There's actually a 3D printed whistle. This is an old Gerber that I have in here. I had an extra one from the military, and I just threw this in here. So a Leatherman is super handy to have on the side of the road. I mean, again, the only other tool I used to change that tire, fix that tire, was a Leatherman. So this can be super helpful. Obviously, you have all your screwdrivers and knife and needleless pliers. You can fix quite a bit with that. I always keep a couple extra bits in here. I have a couple extra tire caps in here, valve stem caps. This is something I showed last year on the channel. This is a jump starter. This is amazing. This will jump start a truck very easily. Big truck, small truck, tractors, whatever you have. And basically you can charge it from the battery in the car. You can provide power from it to something that needs to be charged, just from a cigarette lighter. So you can actually plug this in here and plug a accessory into it, use it as a portable battery source. But what it is most used for is jump starting a car. And so you take this, it's got one of these, I think they're called Anderson connectors, I can't remember, but this just plugs in here, gives you your positive and negative for your battery, clamp that on your battery, and this will, you just fire this thing up, hit boost, and start the car. You can get about 4 or 5 car starts off this thing from a full charge to dead. We can see here, I've used it a couple times, I've never charged it, so it's at 76%. It's been in there for about 1.5 years, maybe even longer, and I've never charged it. I've actually used it to jump start a couple vehicles with, though. So this is a little 1/4-inch nut runner, but it also fits these bits. So I'll keep an extra couple bits in here, and you have a regular screwdriver. This is an adjustable wrench, and so I can, you know, back off battery terminals or anything like that that I need to use this for. I've got the tire fix kit that you saw, a bunch of rags. I have a hammer in here, and then an air compressor. So this is kind of a crucial part of this whole deal too, because if you're going to fix a tire on the side of the road, you need to be able to air it up when you're done. You can actually, I can plug this into the car, or I can couple this with this, and I can actually run this, so I have a bunch of cords running all over the place, so I can actually air up the tire with these two things. And this can be thrown under a seat, or in a trunk, or in the back of the vehicle. It's nice and tidy, tight, and change your tire on the side of the road, as well as fix some other minor issues. Fixing a leaky tire or plugging a tire is actually not that difficult. Just about anyone can do it. Sometimes it can get a little bit difficult to remount the hole or to get the plug all the way in there. It can be a little bit of a struggle, as you saw with this tire. But overall, it's a pretty simple thing. This took me about a half an hour, including videotaping and all that, which adds extra time. So hopefully I encouraged you to fix a tire that you have. Maybe there's something that's leaking. Sometimes slow leaks like this, you'll notice it, okay, well, it's been a week or two and now it's dropped down and your car's telling you got a low tire. You air it up and then a week or two goes by and it's back down again. You probably have a nail or a screw or some piece of metal or something in your tire. The screw or nail will actually plug the tire pretty well. But over time, you know, there's usually just a real tiny leak around that nail or screw, and you're going to get low tires. So links in the description to all of the things that I showed on here. Don't forget to hit thumbs up on today's video. Hopefully you tag along with the SSL Family Dad channel. Subscribe to follow along for all of our videos. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.